Yeah, the description was musical comedy. And I'm like, musical comedy? I was watching the wrong Drumline.
Yeah, it's not a musical at all. It is a sports movie, capital S, capital M, but the sports, record scratch, drums.
What?
But if you watched any sports movie of the late 90s, early 2000s, if you watched Remember the Titans or The Replacements, The Rookie, Miracle, or whatever, I'm sure you get an identical number of laughs because you have your stock characters, you have your teammates. One's a little silly guy, one likes to eat a lot of hamburgers. You get all the types of people in the world.
Yeah, I know that. You named them all.
Hello there, everybody. How you doing? Good to see you. Good to hear from you. My name is Matt Stokes, and this is Load Bearing Beams.
Wow. This is Laci Roth, and yeah, it's Load Bearing Beams. And if you've made it to this episode, congratulations, because you weren't just here for the Spielberg of it all.
Yeah, you're now here for the autumn of Charles Stone III, starting with his 2002 film Drumline. Who the hell wanted to watch this movie?
I did.
You did. Okay. Why?
Oh, I don't know. Okay, so it came out in 2002. This is like, right when I'm collecting movies. I highly doubt I would have seen this in the theaters. It's not really a theater movie. But it is one I just instinctively know I'm going to like. And it's the lack of movie critic in me. I am totally aware that it's going to be a movie I like for non. If it's a good movie, that's all the better. But I'm going to like it anyway because it's a topic I really like. And I just like to listen to marching bands, and especially black marching bands, and how creative and all the dancing. And it just reminds me of my favorite parts of parades. And yeah. And when I read the description of this is a comedy, I thought, it is? I don't remember it making me laugh.
You weren't laughing the whole time?
I've never liked this movie because it's funny.
When the girl does the one-arm push-up and everyone goes,
damn. Yeah. No, that doesn't mean I don't have a big smile on my face the whole time, because I do. This
is like Golden Globes classification of like, because they divide movies into dramas and comedy or musical. And sometimes you're like, what, The Martian is a comedy? Like, no, it's just like, I don't know. It doesn't seem like a serious drama. So, but no, This is a drama. This is more than anything a sports movie.
I would say but the description was musical comedy. And I'm like, musical comedy? I was watching the wrong Drumline.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's not a musical. In fact, I think one of my issues with it, and this movie's fine. I like this movie. Is that there's not enough about music in it, or what music means to any of the characters other than Orlando Jones, and even then, it's a little unclear.
Right.
Yeah, it's not a musical at all. It is a sports movie, capital S, capital M, but the sports, record scratch, are drums.
What?
But if you watched any sports movie of the late 90s, early 2000s, if you watched Remember the Titans or The Replacements, The Rookie, Miracle, or whatever, I'm sure you get an identical number of laughs because you have your stock characters, you have your teammates. One's a little silly guy, one likes to eat a lot of hamburgers. You get all the types of people in the world.
Yeah, I know that. You named them all.
What else do you remember? Do you remember caring about the characters?
What's so crazy is as soon as we started watching it, I remembered what I really like about this movie in addition to the drumming. And it's the relationship between the drum major and I can't think of his name.
Nick Cannon.
Yeah, Nick Cannon's character. But as my memory holds it, it's just that's some fun drumming, and I love all those formations, and I love all the performances. I love all the face-off drumming, the drum offs.
Okay.
I don't know. I would have watched this movie several times. I owned it. It's just a happy, easy movie.
And how do you think it held up this time? Did you think I wouldn't like it?
Yes, I didn't think you'd like it.
Okay. Why not?
I don't know. Because I kind of had a vague memory of the acting being bad. Not all of it, just Nick Cannon. But he always wins me over. I mean, I don't think he's supposed to be super likable in the very beginning anyway. And he dials it back just enough and becomes just enough humble to like really root for all of the shit that he his natural ability and everything. I think that's on purpose. I never ever remember that there's a relationship between him and a girl. And I, that actress, I've always liked her, Zoe
Saldana.
Zoe Saldana, right? But usually she's like a non-human color.
Yeah.
Right? Green or blue.
She got to be a human color in this movie. Good for her. She's always likable. She is so utterly wasted in this movie. It's
Completely.
a non-character, and you could totally take it out of the movie. And I don't mean in the, like, it doesn't affect the plot. I mean, these actors have no chemistry. There's nothing going on here. And when the movie hints a little bit at sensuality, it keeps it at respectful kissing between these two.
And it's awkward. Like, I don't ever feel like I'm supposed to be watching it.
But it's like,
it's the way they chose to do it, I think.
I guess, yeah. And I was listening to the director's commentary, and he seemed to be like a little bashful about it. He's like, this is the lovemaking scene, but we don't need to get into sex. And it's like, but it seems like the point of this is like they're watching these bodies move, and it's
right.
And she just like got all horned up because she did her dance. It's like they should be fucking hardcore right now in a room upstairs, and instead they're just kissing.
They're just kissing you.
Kiss me, Miles.
Kissing you. Yeah.
Through a fish tank.
Right. That's exactly what it felt like it was going for, and like unearned. But I love her step dance, and then I wish they'd show the whole thing of the guys doing it. I think that's called stepping, and I fucking love it.
It is, and I got the sense, like, is she only in this movie so that they can have this sequence? Like, he needs a reason to be in this either frat house or sorority house to see these two. The sorority does their step routine, the fraternity does their step routine. Is Zoe Saldana's entire existence so that there's a reason for him to go to this party? I'm sure it was also like, this needs a love story. It's a Hollywood. The love story is between Devon and Sean. Or that's what it should be. That's
what it should be. And with a little seasoning of both of their connection to their teacher, who they very much respect. Which I like that too, the professor.
Yes. Well, there wouldn't be romance.
Oh, well, I don't think of any of it as romantic. I like the idea of building a friendship off of mutual respect and like an equally putting in effort and work and skill. I love all that. I love that they created the entire BET Classic thing together, and that they were humble about it, and also they stopped being their abrasive sides and were jointly vulnerable. That's not how you say that word.
That's all nice.
Yeah. I like those parts.
I'd always heard like this movie's people would be like, oh, it's actually pretty good. And I for like 4 months, when Devon gets kicked out of the band, but he still hangs around.
Yeah,
that's kind of what I was with the band. So between I went to a private school for 6th and 7th grade. For 8th grade, there was a Catholic high school that started at 8th grade. Where I live, high school refers to 9 through 12, but this Catholic high school started at 8th grade. And I went there for one semester. It was a terrible semester. It was a bad fit. It's the only time in my life where I was in trouble.
Yeah.
And what I was in trouble for was not doing homework, but that got me detentions.
Okay. Gotta do your homework.
But instead of, you could either take PE or band, and band was a 90-minute class 3 times a week.
Okay.
All the other people in the class were actually members of the band. I was the only non-member, but I was like kind of an adjunct member of this band. And I remember the guidance counselor telling me, do you play an instrument? And I said, guitar. And he's like, well, I think we've had guitar in the band before. Bring a guitar. I bring the guitar, and the band teacher's like, what the fuck are we going to do with this?
Now you're the asshole.
Yeah.
I got to carry this around all day. Thank you.
So I
took band in high school too.
You did?
It was an option between PE and band.
What?
Yeah. But I only did it once. Because you could only take it as an elective once.
What did you play?
Nothing. You just learn. Oh, I guess it was called music. You just learn. You learn how to read music, and you get to play instruments if you know how to play them and stuff. And mainly, you fuck around and play cards. We played cards a lot.
Oh, okay.
I played spit. Learned how to play spit and spades. It was a fun class.
So I did.
Mr. Munch. I don't remember a lot of teachers' names, but his name's funny.
So I did learn, I tried to learn how to play the snare drum, and I played along with people, and I could fake my way enough through it. That is also, like, there was also a drum set in that class that you could use for fun, and that's kind of where I taught myself how to play drums.
Oh.
But I did occasionally do, like, practice marches with them, but yeah, it's not.
Let me see.
What?
You can march?
No, I can't march.
Like a horsey, with the little limp feet that they do?
I did have limp feet. Wait, no, I don't remember shit. I remember some of the what are they even called? Rudiments?
Formations?
No, I mean what to do with the drums. I remember.
It looks so hard it's the tiniest of motions when you see it close up. I love the sticking. I guess it's whenever they do any tricks with the sticks that aren't exactly just for drumming, stick tricks.
Whenever they do their stick tricks, I don't know how they do that.
And I love this. Whenever they're pointing on and everything stops.
Yes, my 4 months where I dabbled in the band was adjacent to the band. Not exactly like the HBCU depicted in this movie. Not at all like that, in fact. So I can't speak to the authenticity of this movie.
I'm sure that it is, right? I mean, it's so studied. It's so specific what they...
You always think that, but
yeah.
Whenever anybody actually lives through an experience, they're like, that movie's full of shit. So I would like, if you're a black person, if you went to an HBCU, if you played in a band, or if you played in a band at an HBCU, let us know. Does this movie get it right, or does it get it, something right? I
feel like it definitely gets like how much a band can mean to a school and can be just as big of a part of it as the football team. That all seems very real to me.
And it's in a part of the country, the Southeast, and at the HBCUs, in this conference, the SWAC. I don't know if they're actually in the SWAC, but in our state, we have 2 big SWAC schools, Southern University and Grambling, where the marching bands are way bigger than the actual football. It's like the football game is the excuse to have the marching band.
Right. What does SWAC mean?
Southwestern
Association?
Southwestern Athletic Conference, I believe.
Oh, okay. SWAC. Oh, right.
And yeah, where the bands are a part of a huge tradition. And, in New Orleans where we live, we have the classic every November day after Thanksgiving, which is all about the bands. And
our introduction and mine, why my marching bands, and particularly the drum section, is so important to me, our Mardi Gras parades, they dance the dancing's so awesome. The high stepping, the drum majors get to do all kinds of cool shit. It's my favorite part of parades that has been my whole life. So if you ask me my history of Drumline, it's parades.
Parades. But there is an inherent flaw, I think, in this movie wherein, because you have actors playing the drums, you don't see them playing drums. And whenever it then cuts to real musicians playing drums, that's so much more compelling, especially when you see real bands, because the way they did this was like, we have Atlanta A&T, which is a fictional school, and they just hired real high school and college musicians to be the extras. But then you see like real bands like Morris Brown, and it's like, this is an actual cohesive unit, and they are clearly a much bigger step above even the good musicians you've already been watching. So it's the unfortunate case where like a documentary made about this with this craft would be more interesting.
Right.
Maybe.
And I was going to say, that's what's special about a movie like this, is to take something I'm already interested in that's not related to just watching a movie, and to make it cinematic, and then to put a story around it too, and to like do just the right parts and just the right emotional moments, like like cheerleading movies, like pageant movies, like movies about fucking chess, all of it. But you're right, and it's being married to you that's really helped me, unfortunately, hone in on this, is that I can tell when a musician's not playing the actual thing or doing the activity. And I mean, all that like fancy cutting and stuff. And I think this movie is pretty creative with the parts that they have the actors learning versus it's purely fake. It all worked on me before. It didn't work on me this time. And I just knew every time, like, ooh, Matt clocked that one. Ooh, Matt didn't like that. Ooh.
And it's not even about like, oh, I can tell that's fake. It's just like the thrill of seeing a person's full body doing it. Yeah. Cannot be matched by cutting from Nick Cannon's face down to a real drummer playing the drums.
Right. But you do get that actor / rapper bass drum guy doing the real full thing. He had to do that.
And they had to teach him, but that's just bass. Boom.
But it's okay. Yeah, boom. That part's not the hard part. It's the entire other, because that's what band is. It's like such an interesting mix of creativity and some dance moves, and very particular to marching dance moves with drumming and other band accoutrement.
The director said that Jason, the white guy, he's like, wasn't in love with the plot where like he's the one white guy who plays the drums and he marches in a very stodgy way. And he basically has to learn to move more black. He's like, this is the only thing I wasn't really comfortable with, but that's what the script called for.
Right.
Nick Cannon, though, how do we feel about him in this movie?
So I think every single time I watch it, I do not like him in the beginning. I know I'm supposed to. I'm rooting for him anyway. There's never a time when I'm not. But he's very put on. He's too cool. He knows he's cute. He knows he's talented. He's very cocky. And I mean, is Nick Cannon pulling off that? Yes, but do I think it's just Nick Cannon? Yes, I do. So I don't know how much of it is his personality versus him acting.
Well, he has a very specific energy that he's bringing and a personality that he has here, and I kind of appreciate it.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say he's bad, but I would say sub in. I don't know who you'd sub in, but I feel like this role calls for like a real electric movie star, and he just doesn't have it.
I guess I like his mildness because it lets me focus on everything else as well. I don't feel I'm compelled that he's going to do well and do the right thing and he makes right decisions and all that's important to me. But I guess maybe the movie itself is kind of what the marching band's motto is. It's one band, one sound. Like maybe he wasn't supposed to outshine anyone else.
He's not. But like Top Gun is such a model for this. Because Top Gun, Tom Cruise he's the hot shot. He's the one who's like not playing for the team. He's like, I'm the fucking best. You're all going to bend to me. And it's his journey of learning. I need to be part of this greater whole. And realizing, Val Kilmer actually might be more worthy than I am. But even when he's being such a cock, you're like, yeah, but he fucking rules. I love him. And I never think
I see what you're saying.
About Devon. I always think Devon fucking sucks. I hate him.
Okay. I don't feel that way. I'm totally into his vibe.
But like you said, you're supposed to be rooting for. I mean, this is kind of a very conservative movie. He is being flamboyant. He's being showy, and it's about him learning not to do any of that.
Don't do that. Right. You're so right.
Conform.
You're very, he's got to suppress his personality.
Or it's like a football movie.
Right. I didn't really kind of connect all the military parts of it, but it very much is just a military movie. Mm-hmm. Just, move as a unit.
Yeah, Orlando Jones, he is a drill sergeant.
Who loves Mozart.
For parts of it. I love Orlando Jones in this movie.
So this is probably my favorite him.
Yes. So not Evolution?
No, not Evolution.
What are these bugs doing here? They're stupid.
Maybe the 7-Up commercials, and that's it.
All right. You want to learn about the history of Drumline?
I do. I can't imagine it's a lot.
Well... We start with a man named Dallas Austin.
He's handsome.
2 Texas cities for a name. He is a music producer and mogul. He's the real life inspiration for Drumline and basically the person who shepherded this project from the ground up. A project that was in development hell, but let's learn about the man. He's from Columbus, Georgia. Grew up as basically kind of a musical prodigy, aspired to be a music producer and a keyboardist. He eventually broke into the music industry at the extremely young age of 19. He produced Boyz II Men's debut album when he was 20.
Wow.
Went on to be a producer for Madonna, TLC, Pink, Gwen Stefani, and more.
Damn.
And as a freshman in high school, and this whole movie was developed as a high school movie, not a college movie.
Oh, okay. That makes sense with the lack of sex.
Yeah. He joined the Drumline as a freshman in high school and, was hazed and bullied because he couldn't read music, by the upperclassmen on the band. And it seems like he had an older brother who was sort of a drum legend who was there when he was a freshman or maybe he had just left. Anyway, there was a target on his back, but he won everybody over. And so he's like, my story should be told as a movie.
I already like it.
All right. So he, some producers, Jody Gerson, Wendy Feinerman, they team up with Austin and they pitched the movie to Fox 2000, which was a boutique label of the late 20th Century Fox, which Disney put a bullet in the head of.
Got it.
And they greenlit the movie because of the elevator pitch. Basically, this is halftime is game time.
Uh-huh.
But the Fox exec who greenlit Greenlit said one change is needs to be college, not high school.
Okay.
So the screenwriter they bring aboard is Tina Gordon Chisholm to write the screenplay and Charles Stone III as the director. And I have this quote. There's a really good oral history of Drumline on the website Anscape from 2017. Link in the description. The screenwriter said, quote, was originally pitched, felt like a suburban band movie where a black kid comes to a white uptight school and brings the funk to the school. The only thing I knew was that the main character couldn't read. He was illiterate. I thought, no way could I rewrite this. End quote. So the script evolved. They started to do research. They talked to now that it's in college, they want to set it at an HBCU, a historically black college or university. And so they interview the musical director at Florida A&M, one of the big HBCUs and big bands, and start to understand this culture, start to understand the stakes. They bring aboard Charles Stone as the director. He had just made a movie called Paid in Full. He would go on to make Mr. 3000, the Bernie Mac vehicle. He made Uncle Drew with Kyrie Irving, Underdogs with Snoop Dogg.
I have only heard of Mr. 3000.
From Blunts to Runts, it's called, that Prime Video movie where Snoop Dogg coaches a Pee Wee football team, which is based on a real
weed,
which is something that really happened to him.
Right.
Yeah, Uncle Drew was Kyrie Irving, the basketball star. Had a commercial where he dressed up as an old man and then went and like owned a playground court and like freaked all these people. That old guy's got moves.
Okay.
So then they made a whole movie out of it.
Oh, good.
Otherwise, he is a very prolific TV director. Okay. So what Charles Stone said, he said, quote, I'd passed on the first script and then 6 months later or so, it came back with a historically black college. Charles Stone is a black man, just FYI.
Okay.
The new script, and that was more interesting. The new script allowed me the opportunity to explore percussion and a style of marching band, the show style, that was much more alluring, more magnetic. Then learning more about what these kids go through. It was just like a sport, you know? I went to one of the summer training camps and it's the exact same thing. It's a real grind. That's what inspired me to do it as a full-blown big sports movie, end quote. Okay, good. So they got all the stuff on board. The studio has just one more demand. Dallas Austin, the guy who inspired the movie and is a producer, said, I got a call from Fox. They said, Dallas, we don't know how to say this, but put white people in the movie. I said, okay, how many white people do you want?
God.
They said, we want somebody in the band. We have to have a character because now it's turning into a black movie.
Oh, no. That's, wow.
The director said, quote, the studio wanted a white character in the midst of this ensemble of color in order to support or give us the amount of money we wanted. We needed $20 million to make it. They were offering us $15 million. In order for me to get the additional $5 million, I had to create a white character, end quote. So then
there you go.
Dallas Austin said, quote, I said, let me see how a white kid's story would be inside of a black marching band without making it ridiculous. I go to Morris Brown College one day and I see this kid. He's one of the cymbal players, a white kid with red hair. I said, where'd you come from? He said, in Atlanta, down the street. I've always wanted to be in the band because I grew up in the neighborhood. Mm-hmm. We followed that story into GQ's character.
Yeah.
So yes, the studio was like, hey, we need white people.
I like all the research.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's. I like everything with the white people in the movie. One, it made me feel more comfortable. I can be safe watching this movie. But obviously, not just black students go to HBCUs. Plenty of white people in all races. And my aunt and cousin both went to law school at Southern, and I was going to go to Southern University to study law. I could be a lawyer right now, doing this podcast and not getting paid to practice law
and not producing podcasts for lawyers,
right?
Which is what you actually.
Which is what
do.
I actually do, and I like that they're just there as a part of life. It's interesting to see. All right, but who to play the lead? Who indeed? Well, Nick Cannon gets the role, and Nick Cannon was 21 years old at the time. Laci, he's 6 feet tall.
Thank you, appreciate that.
He's a stand-up comedian from San Diego. He debuted on Nickelodeon's sketch show All That.
Ah, yes.
And as part of the cast, he became a writer of the show. And at 17 was the youngest writer in television history. This all led to him getting his own show.
That's impressive.
The Nick Cannon Show.
That's impressive.
Yeah. I'm not that impressed.
Because you're a writer. I'm
kidding. I'm impressed.
He's so
Others
young.
Auditioning for Devon included T.I. and Lil Wayne.
Yeah. Lil Wayne, can you imagine?
It'd be a different movie.
It would be something. And I don't feel like P.D. Pablo would be the person in the car. It'd have to be like Baby or someone else from Cash Money. You'd have to.
So you'd heard of this P.D. Pablo?
Yeah.
Okay.
He was just popular like within those 2 or 3 years around this movie.
Well, I love that then. I like movies as a super specific time capsule.
And it was perfect for a big band song. It's a call and response song. I mean, it's like a cheer.
Yeah, and the director was saying that like some marching bands will do this and people, traditionalists will criticize it. You're just making this a Hollywood razzle-dazzle thing. It's not about the music anymore or the musicians.
Well, it instantly made me think of Mad Men whenever they first started using famous people in the commercials and John Hamm's like, that's cheating.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
Or in The Simpsons, Lisa's band, school band, loses a competition to, I think, Ogdenville because they play Stars and Stripes Forever. And Lisa's like, Stars and Stripes Forever, come on. But at the end, all the musicians hold up glow sticks. Red, white, and blue glow sticks. And they win. Whoa. They win unanimously. Let's see. So Dallas Austin, the producer, said, I felt like Nick at the time was closer to me because I wasn't overly cocky. I just knew what I was doing. The runner-up for the role was Lee Thompson Young, who was the star of the Disney Channel show, The Famous Jet Jackson.
I sound somewhat familiar, but I can't picture him.
He is he died of suicide in 2013.
Oh God, no, I didn't know that. I didn't.
That's the only reason I knew who he was because I didn't know Disney Channel shows. Anyway, Nick Cannon. But
it makes me instantly think of what happened to him at Nickelodeon.
Well, oh yeah. And the oral history I read is way before any of that came out.
Yeah.
Or at least, it didn't have the reporting it has now. But interesting that the two like contenders for the role are both like children's TV stars.
Yeah.
But like Nick Cannon, after this, he tried to have a music career. It didn't quite work out. He wrote and recorded a pro-life song called Can I Live? And he tried to act, but his acting career didn't take off. But instead, he became a super successful, just kind of permanent TV host, like on The Masked Singer and on a show called Wild and Out, which is still running, that he was briefly fired from for making anti-Semitic comments. But then he apologized and seemed to successfully navigate damage control that. Apparently he was married to Mariah Carey for a while.
Yes, he was. A very big age difference.
Okay. What is he most known for?
He's just very likable. Like, I mean, he's just kind of a constant MC. I just feel like he hosted a ton of stuff. He's a hype guy. He's funny. He's good on the spot. He's charming.
Okay. Atlanta A&T is fictional. They filmed the movie largely at Clark Atlanta University and HBCU. And the band was composed mostly of real-life high school musicians. The Drumline had real drummers and then the actors. And the actors did experience a lot of training to try to get them to be able to fake it. And Nick Cannon's double, his drumming double, was also his tutor. And he said at first he didn't want to drum double. He thought he could figure it out on his own and then realized, no, I can't.
Okay. Yeah, that's good arc.
This movie was a moderate hit. And I feel like it's something of a classic. I mean, it's
okay.
What?
I just didn't expect you to say any of that. I don't ever know with my movies. Movies get stuck in my head whether they're good or bad, and I don't ever know till you reveal it to me. Is it good? God forbid I do an internet search.
Well, big Hollywood movie that is with a largely black cast at a black college. But like the studios were right. Like if we sneak in some white people, then we can sell this to white audiences too. And I definitely feel like I knew kids at my white school who were like, we got to go see Drumline.
Yeah, I mean, I remember it really being popular at the time, but I just don't. Like critically, I don't, and I feel like sometimes it's got to be a critical classic too to like stay. Yeah. But I would not have been surprised if you told me it was a cult classic or specifically for people my age.
And then there was a made for TV sequel with Nick Cannon in it as his character, but his character isn't the main. He's like Han Solo in The Force Awakens. He's like, it's true, all of it. Dr. Lee,
you're really
Sean. The fraternity guys who are Ku Klux Klan members.
Speaking my language.
All of it. The guy who ate the hamburgers. All right. Ready to talk about Drumline, the movie?
That was okay, yeah.
All All right. Well, it opens with
He's not like the others, Matt.
he's not. Yes, because
He doesn't give any
his high school
shits.
graduation. Everybody's lined up,
Sitting up straight.
sitting up straight, and he's leaning back.
Well, because he doesn't quite much care that he's graduating. He's beyond this high school crap.
The shot compositions all throughout, they emphasize geometry. Even when you're not watching formations, you just see a lot of straight lines and shit like that.
Okay.
But Devon, he flamboyantly accepts his diploma. His mom stands up and applauds. That's my flamboyant child up there. I love him. Then the high school band comes on stage and they're going to perform a very boring version of I Believe I Can Fly. But Devon, this little son of a bitch,
He coaxes them.
he mixes it up.
I do like the way the music coach is like, don't do that.
Yeah.
It reminds me of the football coach from Greece. He's just like, don't do that. Stop it.
He's like, I like that he's kind of this little malevolent force. Like he causes people to
Right.
behave badly, but he still ends up winning. He's like Ferris Bueller or Donald Trump. Like I love that Orlando Jones eventually has to give in and put him back on the field. And it's like him turning to the dark side when he does it.
But I like that it goes wrong.
Yeah.
Right. And I like that he's walking back to the bus after the scuffle that happens because of his little stunt. And none of you think the teammates are going to be like, yeah, I had your back. And I'm like, I wasn't trying to have your back. Just cleaning up the mess you made. And like, he's alone. And this is not the way this team, because Orlando Jones's influence over the team and just the history of the college, it's bigger than you, Devon. You're not going to change it because you're something new.
Everyone else is bought into like, we are part of a tradition. We will leave here and this will live on. We are all just cogs in a hole.
Well, not bought into it. Like they want to be a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
They love it for that. They love it for what it's meant to the Black community up until that point. They want to have said that they were in it and they want to leave it whole because it's not about them. Mm-hmm. And he comes in it as a star, which is a little bit of a weird way to come in because, they do make allusion to like most people had to fight their way into here, not get chauffeured in by the actual instructor.
Yeah. Yeah. But his teammate says like, I didn't have your back. I had the team's back.
Right.
And that's the whole movie is until he finally learns his lesson and learns to be humble. He doesn't see it as the team. After his little I Believe I Can Fly thing, his mom comes up to him and she's like, you have graduated, son. And he's like, yes, mother, I've graduated. And now I feel uneasy about leaving you here though. And she's like, oh yes, but now it's time for your party.
She says now it's time for me to party.
Well, I know, but literally they're going to go to his party. But first he needs to go visit the metro station where his father works. And he's like, hey, we don't have a relationship, but I graduated and I have a scholarship and fuck you. Okay. I love you. Goodbye. And
we needed that. We needed to know his situation with abandonment. It explains why he doesn't buy into the whole like paternal structure that happens whenever he goes to this college.
And yes, why he'd probably be a little adversarial to now an older man being like, let me take you under my wing and give you some tough love. And he's like, no.
That, but also I think he thought there was a bait and switch, because, when you're courting someone you want to join, when you're courting talent, you want to join your team, it is all going to seem a much more buddy. And then you get there and he's your superior. He's got to treat you like he treats everybody else. So to him, it's a father figure that changed or you kind of flipped it on him.
Yeah.
He's got to make sure not to need it because needing that kind of relationship is not beneficial to him.
I like that. It's a bait and switch for Dr. Lee, for Orlando Jones as well, because he's like, we don't see him getting recruited, but you get this picture painted of like Devon portrayed himself as like a classically trained musician. He said he lied and said he could read music.
Yes, because that's a question on the it's in the rule book. He just lied and said, yes, I followed. He didn't I'm classically trained.
Well, okay. Classic meaning understanding musical. To be able to read drum notes, you have to have some like musical theory background.
Okay, but he's not in like the fucking orchestra in Harlem.
And then Orlando Jones interviews him under the assumption, okay, yes, you are somebody who also knows all these things as well. And he just lied and pretended, yes, I do, of course. Anyway, when Nick Cannon, has the scene with his dad, I think it's his best moment in the movie.
Yeah. He does act well there.
And then we go and they're on the bus to Atlanta. We meet all the members of the band. It's a nice, fun little squad of people we'll spend the rest of the movie with. We get the exposition on HBCU culture in the South and in Atlanta. And we also meet Zoe Saldaña and Laila, just an electrifying role for her.
She does dance really well.
She dances good dance. And, we find out this is the culture here is kind of like, it's like military precision and dedication and waking up early and working your ass off come rain or shine.
Mm-hmm.
And Devon's like, he's doing it. He's doing the work, but his attitude's a little, makes you raise your eyebrows.
Okay.
And basically your two antagonists for the movie are Orlando Jones as Dr. Lee, the band instructor, and then
I don't know this actor's name.
Sean Young, the actor's name is Leonard Roberts, who's, he's the Val Kilmer Iceman of the movie.
Yeah, for sure. But I was trying to place him. I feel like I've known him from somewhere else too.
He is like a very prolific TV actor. I didn't see any big like movie roles or nothing else where it's like, oh yes, of course. But yeah, he's pretty good.
He's great. I fucking love him.
I like that. We get to see the band and how the band is organized, and there's like a nice little like steady cam moving shot that goes through each unit of the band with like that unit's the saxophones are the soul of the band.
Soul of the band. The drum is the most support. The flute is the heart of the band. Right.
Gather, flautists.
That's how it sounds when they run.
And yeah, this guy's a hard ass. And what is he, a junior? Is he a senior?
They don't say. He's just whatever he bros. He's old enough to run his own unit.
I'm trying to figure out like how does time work in this movie? I mean, this whole movie apparently takes place over 3 months, I guess.
Okay.
Which is a giant like arc for him to on the team, off the team, worked his way back into the good graces, which seemed like it would take a long time, but he's done it anyway. I mean,
it's they do so much every single day. Think of just like with our kid now making the school volleyball team, how much they because it's such a short season.
That's true.
The amount of time they spend together, you can do a lot, especially you got nothing else to do. It's college and you live there.
That's true. Well, he makes the team, but there's like find out there's like differences between making the team and getting to go on the field.
It's like varsity and JV. You think not being on a sports team, you think, well, those are the two options. No, there's a third. There's a third where you don't play. You're still on the team though, and you're there in case you get better or someone else gets worse. And I didn't know that. So there's P4, P3, P2, P1, P3s and P2s can play in the performances if there's a need. In fact, there's lots of them that are there just because they need a certain amount of one instrument, but P4s cannot. So P1s are guaranteed. Everybody else is as needed. Mm-hmm. You're welcome.
Thank you. And Devon, he makes P1, the only freshman to do so. Very impressive. But we see at his audition, he has sheet music in front of him, but he doesn't refer to it. And the teacher notices.
Well, the guy that his drum major notices and makes a remark about it. The teacher's just impressed still at this point and probably doesn't really want to figure out something like that right now anyway. Mm-hmm. Right. I mean, yeah, he wins them over, but I mean, they know, they're like, okay, I guess we got to make him a P1, but they both kind of realize they're playing into what's already not totally working out with him, which is that he's about himself. He's not about the team. He's very cocksure. He thinks he knows best. And it's like, okay, it seems like it's the logical move to put him as a P1, but we both know we're about to create an egomaniac. Mm-hmm. So they seem aware of that, but they get his ass.
Do you think that the movie sells you adequately on him being a great drummer or
yes,
it makes you understand how he is better than other people?
Yes.
I don't agree.
Because they let you know whenever something is complicated. They let you know how long they think it's going to take someone of that skill level to learn a routine. They show him instantly mimicking the routine that he was just shown. They show that he memorized an audition piece. He always adds extra stuff. He's always got different ideas. He's always being creative and coming up with. He's a lot. And I don't know. I totally am sold on it.
I don't think that the movie does enough to help you understand like what he can do that others can't.
I feel like just looking, it's one of those things where you're looking at his hands and you're like, oh yeah, no, I can't do that. I maybe because you do understand drumming and you are a musician, you feel like you're seeing too much of what you can do and not enough of what you can't.
I think it's more like, I don't know, everyone seems good. They're all
but they're
good
not
here.
showing, but they're not. Well, sure. So but there's different skill levels, right? Like I can look at this drum, I can read this music, I can do this, I can perform a whole piece because I can rehearse it and I'm going to be good at it. Can I do it when I'm not looking at my drum? Can I do it when I'm not looking at my drum and I'm walking? Can I do it when I'm not looking at my drum and I'm walking and I'm in the pressure of someone staring right back at me, right? So they're mimicking what it's like to really be on the field when the drum major goes and individually plays on their drum to see who can keep up with him and not be distracted. They can all skillfully do the thing, but can they do it plus the other elements? So I do think that the movie takes the time to show you, yes, each of these people are good, but what breaks them? Where's their breaking point? And that's the distinction.
All the other snare drummers seem like they're doing fine.
I'm telling you the exact point where they show the difference. When the guy plays on each of their drum.
But that's at basically at the very beginning of
so what?
Them training. I guess it's stupid, but like if there's just one scene where Orlando Jones is like, we haven't had something like this since, or I don't know, if they just put it in some sort of context of what he brings that we were missing.
Okay, but he's the first freshman to have ever made a P1. Does that not say something? He's the first freshman to ever.
I want to understand it.
He used C- with the F flat. Like what? I don't understand what you.
I know.
Fine.
So are these?
You need dumb things.
Yeah, I need dumb things.
Yeah.
So tell us about this whole thing, this whole system, this regime of terror that we live under with the challenges. Okay,
but this is something very real in sports. Like I said, there's a whole part of the team that may never ever see the field, and that's true with any sport. Especially, it is just a honor to make the team. That does not mean you get any time. And if you feel like you've been unjustly, or maybe there's so many musicians and they each have a leader, sure, but if you feel like between you and another person who might be a level above you, that you should be swapped. I should be a P2, that person should be a P3, but they only need so many bass drummers. They need, for instance, this one, they need 4 bass drummers at P2 level to do this specific performance they're going to do, which is why you can only challenge a musician.
But what is right challenge?
Before? Okay, so you call out whichever one you think you're better than, and you go right in front of the coaches and you perform the exact routine and show that you are better on the basis of the challenge. And then in this instance, he was challenged on choreography and musicianship or something. I don't remember, but you have to say, I'm better in these 2 areas. Watch me do it. And then
I'm better in the areas of drumming, being the drummer. Yeah, I asked Wade, our friend Wade, who was in the band in high school and college, and is this challenge? Because I asked, have you seen Drumline? He said not since high school. It was like, well, I assume your life was just like this movie, but this challenge thing, this can't be real. I mean, what kind of morale do you have? This is like so medieval. Like, we'll have a duel. I'll push you off your horse, and then I get to kill you and replace you and marry your wife. Like everybody would just be miserable the whole time.
But everyone is. But it's so that no one can rest on their laurels. And he was one of 4 bassists. He got picked because of some personal thing between the 2 of them. But he had a 1 in 4 shot of being picked. He might not have ever gotten picked. And some people don't. And maybe there aren't levels under you that deserve your spot. But it's always going to make sure that the very best players are on the field every time. And that is exactly what high school, middle school, and college sports are.
Do you think if you lose a challenge, something happens to you? If you unsuccessfully
you become what the person was.
No, but if you are the one who initiates the challenge.
That's interesting. Well, I mean, you're already going to piss off the person you're challenging. So it just depends on if you're a sociopath or not. And I'm sure it's embarrassing to do it twice in one season, right? So I would hope you're just going to you don't want to piss off the coach or, the instructor. You don't want to piss off the people. These people are serious. So, I guess a crazy person could be like, I challenge everyone every time.
That's what I think would happen.
No, it wouldn't.
And then everybody would just
you're wasting people's time. This is a very serious situation. I don't think you do it unless you're sure. And if you're wrong, you're wrong. But I don't think you would try to do it again unless you were really, really sure the next time. Otherwise, you get a reputation as someone who's wasting time. And you're going to get demoted.
So Jason loses the battle.
Oh, I'm talking a lot about fucking militarized structure and why it's good.
Jason, he loses the battle because he doesn't have the choreography down. And I like that it's communicated to us by Orlando Jones just whispering very compassionately into his ear. We don't hear what he says, but we get it. But it's not the end of the world for Jason. He understands there's ups and there's downs and, just an opportunity to improve every day.
Okay. That really wasn't in the script, but you felt it. All right. So now it's our first performance. All the freshmen are going to perform for the very first time on the field. And because Devon is a P1, he's front and center. And, he's hyped, he's nervous, it's cool, whatever. But he is still not towing the line with respect how the hierarchy works here. It's like this for a reason. And he says this shitty thing to the drum major he's been having trouble with the whole time. And he says, at least I don't have some whack drum solo. And Sean is like, oh, okay, it's yours. And he's like, what? And I mean, Sean's very confident that that's going to not totally blow up in his face and that Devon's going to choke. So you don't know what's going to happen because it's a drum solo. It's like at the end. So it's like they do the whole routine. It's very impressive. A lot of formations. I love looking at this stuff. But it comes time to the solo and he misses his cue. And then
he freezes.
Well, he totally misses when he was supposed to go in. And
it's a choice he's making. He's too nervous to do it. He does exactly what Sean said he would do.
Yes, Matt. Yes.
But that's not him missing the cue musically.
Oh my God, Matt. He misses the spot where he was supposed to go in. Sean signals to him that he missed it. That's when Sean realizes, oh, this is not a him missing it. This is him not doing it.
Okay.
So sorry, I picked the wrong fucking term. Oh my God. So Sean goes in and does it, and then that really gets under Nick Cannon's skin. So then he starts doing it from behind him, and then he walks up and starts doing it from beside him, and then just to really fuck with him, Nick Cannon then goes in front of him and does the solo. But to finish it off, he does kneel down, which shows some kind of humility, right? So that Sean can be seen behind him, both doing it's very impressive. It looks like it was choreographed. And just so you know, the side plot of the principal of the college.
No, he's the university president.
That's that. He needs the college to get back to winning the BET Classic, and they have not, because though he's very skilled, the instructor of the band is all about the music and the classics and then the skill and them getting an education, all this. And it leads to some boring music choices. But when he sees Sean and Devon up to this drumming battle thing, he's just like, yes, you finally listened to me. This is amazing. Put him in everything.
He wants the band to be more populist. Because he's like, Orlando Jones, you're kind of new. Your predecessor, he got the game more. This is about engaging our alumni base. When they're having fun at the games, when they're getting into it, they write those checks.
Right.
You're all about the more, you're just more boring. Yeah, your kids are learning more about music and theory and stuff, whatever, jack off motion. Get the people back on our side, get the checks written. And then that's what our actual job here is. You think the job is educating young people. No, it's about getting donations.
There's politics and everything.
Yes.
So weirdly, you think Sean and Devon are going to come off the field and Sean's going to be mad, but he seems fine. He's even kind of smiling at how it kind of went, but he sees the look on Dr. Lee's face and I think he realizes, oh shit.
It's an interesting little dynamic.
It is, because I forgot that this even happened. And I'll always remember I'm mad at Nick Cannon every time, but Sean even, Dr. Lee is mad. He's like, what the fuck was that? And even worse, the president of the school, Yeah. Okay. Is
President,
like, is like,
college.
yeah, you finally listened to me. You did it. So like now it's going to get baked in, and like now you're really pissing him off because he didn't want to do something like this, and now you've shown him that we can. And so I'm mad that you didn't tell me you were going to do this, and you made it about you. And Sean is like, look, it was a misunderstanding. Like he took the responsibility, which he did not have to do that. He could have thrown Nick Cannon under the bus, and then Nick just let him do it. And then Dr. Lee makes him go polish the drums, which is a punishment that Sean had. I mean, that Nick Cannon's character had gotten before. And in my memory, I'm like, oh, and that's when he goes and polishes the drums with him together, and they become best friends, and he teaches them to read music.
Nope.
That's what I wrote in my head. And I'm like, no, Nick Cannon, no.
No, instead he's like, haha, stupid.
Right. It's like you could have nipped this shit in the bud, man. You said fucking slow mouth kissing with Christian Zoe.
Yeah. I think Sean takes the drum major role very seriously. And it's like, if the guy went rogue, it's my responsibility. I'm responsible. It's also kind of a power move of like, no. He doesn't matter. This is on me, coach. This is on me.
I didn't take it like that. I took it as him owning up to the fact that at the very last minute before they left the tunnel, Matt, you knew I would not want to look at this. At the very last minute before they exited the tunnel, he was like, you take my solo. I mean, it was his fault. He did cause confusion with that. Okay. God damn it. Okay, so now Matt has a kissing photo on because no matter how many times I tell him I don't want to see kissing pictures in front of my face for 10 minutes at a time, he does it and then pretends I'm the problem. So this is a fun little thing that we do.
Remember when Pierce Brosnan kissed that woman in GoldenEye?
Oh, yes, God.
And you just went, sick.
Because he does it so deep. He does it so hard. I can smell them.
This right here between Cannon and Saldaña, not a deep kiss, I would say.
I found it deep. Intimate in a way I didn't expect.
I suppose. But they're all, we talked already about the horned upness of watching all the steps.
Yes.
So, yes. Now, freaking Devon, his fraud gets exposed. He can't read sheet music. Sean exposes him very cleverly.
So clever.
Hey, why don't you play off of this sheet music? And he's like, and then he runs away and pisses his pants.
Because I have to make a duty.
It's my duty to see that you're educated, young man. So Orlando Jones demotes him to P4, and you're going to have to attend boring music theory classes.
Where they only give the teacher a chalkboard. No
That's
whiteboard
right.
for him.
The lesson, as always, don't lie on your resume.
Is it?
You will get, no, you lie on your resume.
You lie. You
Nothing's
lie
going to
big.
happen.
You don't want an instructor with ethics. That's the lesson. You do a background check. You make sure they're dirty as hell, and then you lie all you want.
We meet the rival band, Morris Brown, a real college, and the footage of them, I said this earlier, it's noticeably more exciting because this is a real band.
There's a lot of energy. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But to me, it always registers as like amateur because they're not doing a ton of formations. And I'm like, oh, well, they don't have Dr. Lee. Otherwise they'd be a diamond right now. And then some sort of human Ferris wheel. I don't understand. So,
so like Dr. Lee has his band play March of the Bumblebees, which is like musically,
Flight of the Bumblebees.
Flight of the Bumblebees. It's not, the Bumblebees don't march.
They don't.
It is musically very, very impressive, but the crowd's just like, who cares?
What the fuck?
Boring.
It's a big flaccid wiener, and then even worse, the Morris Brown answers back, and all of
the A&T
the
fans.
A&T class, the fans are just like, yeah, all right. So it is exactly what you're not supposed to do, Dr. Lee.
So the Morris Brown coach, after the game, approaches Devon and he basically tries to poach him. This is
right in front of Dr. Lee. Not
college recruiting scandal here.
Wait, is this? Wait. This is homecoming?
No, not yet. That's the next game.
Is that the next game?
That's the next game.
It's the next game. Okay.
The homecoming is when the fight happens. This is where
I thought this was that. Sorry.
This is not that.
It's not.
Okay, if you're ever
It's
asking,
also not all that, which is where Nick Cannon got started. Wasn't sure if you knew that. Okay.
And this is all that is the theme song to All That. You ever watch All That?
Yes, Matt.
You remember Pierre
I watched
Escargot?
All That. Of course I do. Of course I do. I think about him all the time.
Do I watch All That? Of course.
All right, come on. You come on. That's what I was doing. You big goof.
You say okay. You saved it. You saved it.
I did see.
Laci knows I hate when she tells me to come on, so she has to then make it sound
Come
funny.
on, my tits! Yay!
Well, I like that.
I saved
Damn.
boobies.
I watching this movie, I realized I'd never seen this movie.
That's hot. Damn it! Those things don't go together. All right, continue.
But I remembered moments from the trailer. I remember the girl doing the push-up and everybody saying, damn. I remember Nick Cannon doing his fancy drumming and saying, put a little something on the end.
Oh, yeah. Yes, I remember that too.
Yeah. So the A&T, the professor or the university president's like, what are you doing? Why is Devon not on the field? Put him back in the field. Damn it. That's an order. And we see Orlando Jones in his office late at night, like getting drunk and pounding shots of whiskey while he watches footage of Devon.
Back and to the left.
He is tempted. I love that he is tempted to the dark side, and he's like, "Okay, fine, Devon's back in." And
he's gonna be fine.
This is the hero of the movie he's talking about, and it's going to ruin everybody's lives.
All right, so this is this Devon's first time having like a drumline drum off thing? Because that didn't happen in the first time when they were on the field, and I don't really know why. Is it because? Well, whatever, but. He's got a hot T, is what I'm saying, temper. And if you're in the drum line, you are facing your counterpart right across the field, like freaking like infantry. Like, is that infantry?
Infantry.
Like when you shoot an infant. Okay. And like, you know, so you're staring right at each other and you're like, oh, I'm gonna drum. Oh, I'm gonna fuck you so hard with this drum. Oh God, yeah. And he's drumming, and the schools are going back and forth, showing off their 7 minutes of whatever, but it gets a little too personal. And so Nick Cannon's like, I've got an idea. And he walks up to that man in the red hat. And he takes his sticks and he drums on that man's drum, touches it with his own stick.
You don't do that.
You didn't even wash off his stick first.
Put stick to skin.
Right on it. And that man, he struck Nick Cannon. And then it was a brawl.
And it turns into a brawl.
And for a moment you think, oh, that what a story. They're not gonna be mad at each other for that. But that's when you realize, like, no, Nick, fuck, you're poisoning this shit. Okay, this is not what we do. This is not prestigious. We're gonna be on the news now for the wrong reasons. And so he, immediately, like, you're off the fuck, and he doesn't kick him off the team yet. Does he? Is this when he kicks him off the team?
Yep.
Yep. Okay. And this is when he was supposed to be introduced to the parents of his girlfriend. And after he did that, he started that fight, she pretended she didn't know him. So he's really down and out.
She's nervous to introduce him to her parents. And then they're like, who is that young hooligan out on the field? And she's like, I don't know that man.
And none of that happened, Matt.
What cut did I watch?
The boring one. All right. So Devon is, like, this is just not going how he thought it is. He's in classes he doesn't want to be in. He's not in the band anymore. He's not talking to his girlfriend because he didn't take any responsibility for the fight he caused. And he got mad at her, which flip-a-roo. Okay, maybe look at yourself. And in this downtime, he takes the Morris Brown director up on his offer to talk. And so these men can only meet at night. They can only meet on the field, apparently. So he goes and he stops by a practice and he has like a talk with him about what would you might be interested in me joining your program next year. And the director's like, I think we could make that happen. Let me look into the financial aid part of that for you. And, like that part's key because the scholarship people, the school has them by the balls. And then the directors of those departments, they can be unethical. I'm sure lots of things get done to students that have undue power over them, especially when the scholarship was like so important, or your family that you got to go to college or any of that stuff. And it's just, he doesn't appreciate Dr. Lee, and that Dr. Lee used to work for this other director and clearly has disgust for him. None of that, you don't know why that is. And you don't know to appreciate the director you have until you get a sense of what it could be like with a less a less ethical man. But I'm getting ahead of myself. So anyway, this guy blows smoke up his ass. Like, yeah, let me check it out, young man. Let's see what I can do for you. That's all. So we don't know what's going to happen there.
The movie doesn't really get into like, it shows Devon appears to be like taking school seriously, at least like he's doing his like there's like in reality for scholarship athletes and scholarship musicians and stuff, like life is hell. There's no actual time to go to class, but everything relies on you getting grades so that you can continue doing the thing that the school is, you know, paying you to do via scholarship.
Right.
And life is hell. And it's way worse for athletes, but it's bad for the musicians as well, and bad for everybody.
Well, I mean, if they get training as they show it, then they're athletes too. I mean, they're marching and slinging around gigantic instruments as they dance and play the instruments beautifully. I mean, that's athletic. It just isn't called a sport. Did I miss something on this scene?
Well, he basically then goes right back to the rival school, and he's like, "I'm ready to talk." And then
what do you mean goes right back? I just said this part. I don't understand.
He goes and meets with him one night, and then he says, "Go think about it and come back to me." So he goes back and he's like, "Yes, I want to come here." And he lays out all the great things. You're going to be up in a skybox at the BET Classic, and
I'm going to get you a job for the summer.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so, hey, listen, I scratch your back. Tell me what spill the tea on Dr. Lee.
And I feel his heart sink here. I've been here before. This like too good to be true offer, and then the reality happens with it. So it's like, I'm going to do all this. I'm such a nice person. Everything you want out of the band you're in is what I have over here. We're relaxed. We don't care. You don't read music. You want to be treated like a star. I want you to be a star. We need a star. We're not about the band. We're about the BET class. You know, it's like, it's everything he was hoping A&M was going to be. But of course, it's too good to be true. That doesn't make sense. You can't run a program like that. Why would all of these hundreds of musicians work that hard so that there could be one star? It's stupid. It doesn't make sense. This guy is clearly selling him something that he can't provide. And it turns out all he really wants is to know what Dr. Lee is going to do for the BET Classic specifically, not spill any dirt on him specifically. They worked together 6 years. He knows all about Dr. Lee. He just wants to beat him for the 4th year in a row at the BET Classic. That's it. And like that hasn't even been discussed. Well, Nick Cannon truly does not know, but he's completely taken aback, completely surprised, and realizes all in that moment, like, fuck, okay, this does not feel good. This is not what I want. I don't want to be doing hard work and learning under this guy. It's a really nice moment because it's like he realizes I fucked up. I had something really good, and now I need to go earn back that if I can, just by helping out.
Yes. Rejects the offer.
Yeah, completely. You know, and doesn't even. And I'm thinking like, oh no, he's gonna be mad at you. Nick Cannon, no. But he's a brave boy, and he just goes back to doing schoolwork, and you know, he has like a lonely phone call with his mom, and he's clearly feeling alone, but he just kind of keeps moving on. But he gets a box of cassette tapes from his dad, because he had no relationship with his dad. His dad didn't even know he existed, or he might have known but didn't know him when he was right in front of him. But he did say, I have a full scholarship, this is my name, and I'm going here for college, and this is also where his dad went. I think, right?
I don't know about that.
No, he's also going to be a drummer. His dad was a drummer. Okay. And his dad sends him this box of tapes that even has his dad's own band on there. And it's a bunch of just inspirational drumming music that is classic, is about musicianship, but it's funky because his dad grew up in the 70s, or was a musician in the 70s. And Devon has nothing else to do, so he just starts listening to these tapes and kind of coming up with these ideas for marching formations and like how this could be done in a performance way. You don't know why. He doesn't even know why. This is what he thinks about, and now he cares. And so I didn't know this, and they don't spend any time telling you this, but there's a machine you can hook up to the top of your drum. It's yellow and it sticks on there, and if you play your drum while you're doing that, a fax machine will print out music for you that you just made. That's true. I didn't know that existed, but apparently it's like a little music studio kind of thing, and that he can go record. He can use that even though he's not in the band anymore. I don't know, but he goes in there to to drum out his ideas, and who's in there but his mortal mini enemy, Sean. And he's recording. And then they have an adorable little drum off and record music together on accident.
And they should passionately kiss like Saldaña.
But they point sticks at each other.
Instead, they point sticks at each other.
They're wieners.
Yes. Do you feel this right now? Yeah.
I think that's so cute. I love how alike they are.
They look at, I like that Sean then looks at the printout, and now he's the more technical, more educated one. He's like, oh, now I have like paper proof of what you're capable of. And like that sort of wins him over to Nick Cannon. Like, yeah, I knew you were talented, but now here it is on paper and I can't argue with it. So I want to help you now.
Right.
Take you under my wing, teach you how to read music.
Well, don't you think he was also kind of softened by the fact that Nick Cannon's in there at all? That he still has this on his mind, that he still wants to record something, and like
he's got the music in and he's got to let it out. But this is a major issue I have, or just it's thing that I think is missing from the movie is how Devon feels about music and drumming. It never there's like the only time they get near it is earlier in the movie when his white roommate is like, I came to this school because I grew up in this neighborhood. I love the A&T band. It means everything to me. That's why I want to be here. And Nick Cannon's just like, I feel that. That's it. Like, I just like a little, like, what does drumming mean to you? How does it make you feel, or why do you do it? What drives you?
I feel like that is the connection he has to his dad. His dad's been on his mind ever since he's never left it. He does not know his dad, but he knows his dad was a drummer so good that he made a sort of career out of it. And so for him to do it at all, it's got to be about that.
So, I mean...
But there's a part of him that's detached from it and hates it too because of that.
So what you should be feeling right here is like, he's always been good at drumming, but he was like, it's just what I'm good at. I don't give a shit. It could be anything else. But now I'm falling in love with the art and the craft of the thing. But I don't feel that.
He's taking it more seriously and taking the idea of doing something as a team more seriously. Like imagining things not as something that what it would sound like while I'm doing it alone, but what would this look like if that's how I take it.
Yes. And in part because this movie's already too long, 2 hours.
2 hours seems long for this kind of movie.
You could lose like 35 minutes and then spend more time right here because all of this growth happens in a 35-second montage.
Yes, it is a fast-ass fucking montage.
Of him like, see, now he's learning to be more conservative and traditional, and now he's cleaned up and he's going to class and he's paying attention in music class and he's being nicer to his friends and stuff. And if we just got to spend more time in here, I think I would feel it more.
Well, he got a little bit of love from his dad just when he was needing it, and that gave him a second wind. And not that his dad deserves to have that role, but it did do that for him.
Yeah. There's this very bizarre subplot that only happens in 2 scenes where one of their friends is pledging for a fraternity but keeps it secret, and then they find out and it's a bunch of hooded druids in like the quad with like, torches and stuff, and they make them like fuck a turtle and drink each other's blood. Fraternities are fucked up, man.
They are so fucked up. But yeah, why? I don't understand why this is part of the movie. It's just it barely I can't even say that it serves a comic role, and it's all just to build that there's 2 characters in the band that like each other, and so they kiss. Wow. Like, who cares?
It's all building toward the BET Big Southern Classic, a fictional thing in which people pay to go watch bands.
Oh, it's got nothing to do with BET the magazine?
Well,
or the channel?
Yes, but this doesn't actually exist.
It doesn't?
No.
Then why
I don't believe so.
I've heard of this.
From this movie.
Wait, but what do you mean you don't think so? Why didn't you just are guessing it doesn't exist? There's a BET something like this. Oh, look, Honda bought it.
The Honda Battle of the Bands is an annual marching band exhibition of HBCUs sponsored by Honda. It took place in Atlanta from 2003 to 2022.
Oh, okay. But it was always called the Honda? Yeah, that doesn't have much of a ring to it. Maybe BET was like a spot. What am I trying to say? Like McDonald's and Close Encounters.
Yeah. Well, like, it looks like it started in 2003, the year after.
Oh, wow.
Drumline. Did this start because of Drumline?
That's amazing.
Huh.
I love it. Honda's like, there's something to this. Okay, but I swear there's a BET something, and maybe I'm thinking of like an awards, maybe.
Well, yeah, there's the BET Awards.
I know that, but I thought there was something to do with sports.
Once again, this is not that.
Damn it.
So, I mean, I think it's interesting. It's nice that Devon now, he's like, he doesn't actually hope to, or he seems like
he wants to get on next year. He wants to be a member of the band next year.
And he's playing the long game, and he's being a good team player.
Right.
He just wants to be an adjacent part of it. There's the fucking scene that it's mandatory in a sports movie where he goes into the empty arena. He's like, oh, wow.
I know.
Wow.
Every time I'm like, okay.
Oh, the Georgia Dome.
The freshly painted
Chick-fil-A
lawn.
over there. Wow. Matt Ryan will one day hurt his shoulder here. Wow.
You know, it's interesting. Like he kind of is a little autobiographical real quick here for Nick Cannon, because he shows interest in the background part. Like he didn't just want to be on the show. He wanted to be a comic writer. He wanted to add something to the success of the show other than just his front facing talent. And he's showing interest in like wanting to be more of a organizer or an arranger, help Dr. Lee in the future come up with performance ideas. Mm-hmm. He's but in the whole movie, he's just as into like the performance and the showmanship of stuff as he is to the beats. I don't know what to say. He likes the sticking, and I love it too. It really sticks the landing.
Stick man.
Yeah.
They really did fill up the Georgia Dome they filled up half of it with actual Atlanta residents. They're like, come on, be part of our movie.
I'd fucking go.
And so it's just a trick. You only actually ever film one side of the stadium and then turn the band around. Morris Brown with their showy Hollywood tricks. They bring out someone named Peter Pablo to perform with them. A&T doesn't do that shit. They're all about musicianship.
Fly to the
Bumblebee.
comes
down to a tie between Morris Brown and AT&T.
Which has never happened in the history of this fictional thing.
Oh my God. In the 1 year history of the BET Classic. So they're going to have a tie-breaking drum battle with all of the major characters at center field right now.
No way.
And Dr. Lee is like, fuck it. Devon, get in there, old pal.
And then he's like, Hinkles, take off your outfit or your uniform. I'm like, he played in that the whole time.
Get lost.
No. You know the dick sweat? You know how fucking heavy those outfits are? Nick Cannon's going to put on a wet, disgusting uniform.
He's like, is that dick sweat I feel? Oh, man.
Why is it in my pussy area?
Well, they win. They
won. But I like that they were prepared, because they don't show you practicing for these parts, and they don't even know that they're ever going to use them. They just in preparation for if there is a tie, they need to have these things already thought out. But because it was such a big public thing that set off Devon, or that Devon did, was to play on someone else's drum, they absolutely knew that would be what Morris Brown does. Is they think they're going to get us. That's going to be their big move. They're going to come play on all of our drums, and we will know that that's what they're going to do. That is why we will let them. We don't care, because the thing we're going to do is even more disrespectful. We're going to walk up to them, make them think we're going to play their drums,
and then fuck their wives,
and then throw our sticks. But ta-ta-ta, we got another set of sticks, and we take one step forward and we throw our sticks on the drum.
Wow.
Your drum is trash like my sticks are trash.
Oh my God.
I love it.
No, it's cool.
And I love when they make a big circle of their bass drums, and they up and down and up and down.
Oh yeah, that's the best.
And the girls come out, and they're like the girl drummer twins, and then they're back to back. Oh, we played our drums. I love that part.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's so good.
No, it's good. It's good. Now, Morris Brown, you know that the head of that band is like, he's going to go to court about this. He's like, you had a drummer on field who's not a member of the band, and there's $50,000 at stake here.
Who's going?
The rival band.
Well, so did he at Petey Pablo. That motherfucker's not a member of the band.
But he's not playing in the band. He
was singing, and he added
Singing's
to
not
the
a part of the band.
success.
Because then why not just get professional musicians? With $50,000 at the stake, just hire real professional musicians.
There's no proof. There's no like writing down. He just knows. He has no reason to think.
I'm glad you're taking this seriously.
Very upset.
This thing this joke I made. He's going to take him to court. Ladies and gentlemen,
they're going to get a banner. He's and Dr. Lee's going to get his respect.
Mr. Morris Brown, you're telling me.
And I could take you much more seriously, Mr. Morris Brown, if you weren't wearing a yellow suit right now and shaking your booty. I do love that. You see the back of him more than you see the front of him in this movie, and he's just wiggling.
Am I to believe that Mr. Devon Miles was not a scholarship drum player? That's a Southern judge.
Yes, good.
All right.
Oh, God, I don't have a star rating for it.
What are your final thoughts on Drumline, 2002, directed by Charles Stone III? And then let's give our Charles Stone rankings.
It holds up. I feel this is one of those unique movies where I feel exactly the same way as I felt about it when I watched it when I was younger. Where usually I end up enjoying a movie later, but have slightly different views on like its messages and stuff. There aren't any messages in here I didn't understand before. They're all just exactly what I liked before. Like,
I think the politics, though, are a little conservative that you might not pick up on when you're younger.
Okay, I guess. I still don't know about what you're talking about. No, I'm kidding. I get it. I get what you're saying. It just doesn't feel conservative when I'm watching it. I don't know.
Well, there's sort of a respectability politics to it of like, what
we need
to do
is... They can't even date. They've got to be boyfriend and girlfriend. Like, what the fuck was that?
What's your rating?
I guess a 3.5.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to give my movies much lower than that. I don't know. I feel like I'm stuck between 3.5 and 4.5 and on all things that I rate. 3.5 seems high, but 3 seems low.
I'm going to go with the 3. I think it's a perfectly solid movie. It is. I think Charles Stone is actually a very good director here. I think when especially you just get the full band shots, you see the bands in formation, it is super well shot. When you get the real bands, that stuff is exhilarating. It's just not as exciting to see your main characters drum because you know it's fake.
Yeah.
And you only see their faces. I forgot to compliment Nick Cannon on this, though. I think he makes good, stupid drum face.
Oh, I know.
Like
because he is trying enough that it only takes a little bit of drumming to make that face happen. You either have it or you don't.
Puckering his lips out, and it's not. He doesn't have the vanity to be like, I'm not making that fucking face. He does it the whole time
because he's actually drumming.
No, I know.
But I'm saying it's not a choice. If you have stupid drummer face, it just happens.
Okay,
you don't think about it.
The actor Nick Cannon could say, "I'm not doing this because I make that face, and I don't need to do real drums."
Oh, okay.
And I like that. This is a face that real drummers make, and he's doing it. And
I dated a drummer, and it was it's the same face he made while having the sex, and it was stupid.
You slut. When I went to see the band.
You don't have drummer face.
I'm not a drummer.
Well, when you drum, you don't.
Well, I'm not a drummer.
Matt.
Well, but I'm not.
Understand the fuck I'm saying?
It's the instrument I'm least good at.
Have you ever lifted dumbbells?
No.
Okay, when you do that, drummer face happens. It's literally just like it's a strain face. You either do it or you don't. I do it. It's not controllable. If I go to drum, face happens.
You make dance face.
Well, that's true. Saucy.
Look at Laci and her mom. They make the exact same faces. When
Laci and her mom. Fuck yeah! Hey! I know, mom.
Foul on the
yeah,
play.
I do. I do not make that face.
Yes, you do. You know what? You say it every time.
I don't go like this.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't. No.
This is the most serious thing in the world.
Because I've never.
I will survive.
I'm an amazing dad.
Stupid drum face. Where was I?
I don't fucking know. God bless Nick Cannon.
I feel like a better actor would really improve things. And just you need a better script. You need to not just do the most basic ass beats. I get the innovation here is that it's a black college, that it's a band, that we're centering the black experience. This is by a black director, black screenwriter, black executive producer. I admire all of that. I just wish in the end it was a better movie, but I had a perfectly fine time watching it and it was fun and I'll never think about it again.
Okay. That sounds right.
So what's next for us on our journey?
Ooh, is that what's next?
Next week, on Friday the 13th, 2024, we are covering Friday the 13th, Part 2.
Have I seen Part 1?
You have. My very favorite Friday the 13th is Part 2. I think it's one of the great slashers ever made, and we're going to celebrate it on Friday the 13th, and I can't wait.
Why on that day?
Oh,
Jay, kidding.
Well, our podcast continues to grow, and we thank everybody. But give us a goddamn review on iTunes.
Just review the fucking thing,
Jesus,
man.
Lacey's
Even
always,
if it's a 4.8, that's fine.
Lacey's always offering things. Nobody ever takes her up on it.
My stuff.
But subscribe to the podcast on YouTube, Load Bearing Beams Pod. And we are on the social medias. We are on Twitter at Matt Stokes9 and Load Bearing Pod. We are on TikTok at load.bearing.beams and Matt Stokes9.
If you got this far in the podcast, give us the code word chicken at any moment on TikTok this week, and you'll get something. I don't know what, but you're going to chicken. Okay, go on.
We'll send you chicken.
No, I'm not sending any chicken. The code word is chicken.
We're gonna
chicken.
We're on Instagram at Load Bearing Beams, and the music on the show is by my band Rural Route 9. And we do the music for the show, including the interstitial music. And you can catch our music on Spotify, Apple Music, or wherever you get your podcast. That's all we have to say.
Yes. Okay, I love you. Goodbye. Thought I'd add a little something.
Three, four. Everybody, love Mary Beams, love Mary